Another Mega Aerodactyl over there. That one's ultimate though. I barely beat the last one.
Neat. If it wasn't so dang fast and I could get a pair off, or if it just let me get a pair off. Still double placing. Stop.
You know how fast is Mega Aero? Like 140?
Very. How fast is Mega Aerodactyl? Yes. Oh, hey, Shroom.
Hello.
Welcome back.
What are you doing here?
How often you come around this neck of the woods?
That's why you got an old personal alert.
Oh, no.
Well, that's unnecessary.
So wait, what was the blue alert for?
I'm gonna Google it. What is a blue alert?
Dribbler of the secret well, tell me your secrets. Oh, he's killing himself. I gotta go.
Oh. Well,
Secret is
here's what it
suicide.
is. Blue alert suspect Samuel Edwards has a long criminal history in Tennessee. Must be like some sort of criminals on the loose.
Oh, nice.
It's a warning. This
Good luck.
person's around. Oh boy.
Uncommon charcoal. Okay.
Holes? Oh, we did fill all the holes.
Yeah, it looks pretty nice.
Is it a feature where you can put carcoals on mine tracks?
No.
That'd be nice.
No, it wouldn't.
I think I'd have
All
fun
right,
with
get
that.
out of the way, Jet.
Oh, sorry.
Let's see how this
no,
works.
dirt.
Spawn. What's it called? Is it called time space alter? Actually, wait a minute. Let me try this.
If this is gonna crash my game, let me know.
We're
I
gonna
think
find out
it is
together.
a
Gotta
time
get
space
on
alter.
my thing to just in case.
The time space alter is found generated in a special structure called the spear pillar.
Called-
Oh, that's just the altar, yeah. So the spear
Yeah,
pillar
yeah,
has,
I
yeah,
know.
okay.
Yeah. Let's try this.
I haven't seen any raids since Chaos kicked me. Dang it. There were so many too.
They probably just all like immediately despawned. And
Yeah,
now
since I
they're,
was
like,
out of the
reset
area.
there,
Yeah.
Let me. I know that you used to be able to do this. Maybe they changed it. In which case, we'll just build our own. But let me see here. Do.
Oh, there's one. What is it? That. What the heck is that?
Oh, there's the
I think
command.
it's slash struck.
Oh,
Yeah, I just found it.
okay.
Data.
Struck, and then what's the exact name for this one?
Are you centered?
I'm just gonna. I don't know how it's going to spawn, so I'm just gonna spawn it real quick and see.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see.
see, because I
Okay.
didn't expect it to spawn like that, did I?
That's interesting. Oh, it also deleted some of our dirt.
Yeah, it went down a couple of layers when it spawned, which sucks.
Okay.
Hmm.
Is there like an undo button?
No.
Is there an undo button? Oh no.
Well, if you put me into creative, we can
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna
bust
do.
this thing down.
How do you do it? Is it game mode C?
Slash
and
game mode
A?
C name.
There you go.
Thanks.
What is this?
Yeah, let's tear this up and
It's a drowsy.
fix it. I think we're just gonna want to build one completely manually. I'll spawn in these blocks, and we'll make our own.
You don't want to try again?
We'll make our own spirit
No!
pillar.
What if you let me try?
Do not.
You think if I kick you again, it'll fix this raid problem you're having?
Probably not. But
Yeah,
it's worth
well.
a try.
Test the hypothesis.
Yeah, man, that's science, baby.
Yeah, always gotta check those hypotenuses.
And the perpendiculars.
True. What have you been doing this entire stream?
Building.
I don't like that. That worries me.
It sounded very ominous when you said it like that.
It
I
did.
have many important things to build.
I like the Entei chillin' and the spear pillar though. That's kind of cool.
Lone Wolf, where are you?
I went below the island. Why?
I'm
Come
here.
over here so you can help us go through this.
Oh, there's a raid. What do we got here, baby?
Tear this up and then spawn back in dirt to take its
Is
place.
that a Quagsire? No, this is a Squirtle.
If you have dirt in your inventory and you just start placing it where it needs to go, then it'll just do it.
Banana.
Loudred. Why did the spear pillar have to go like 3 layers under the dirt?
Oh. Hey, gentlemen. Oh, this does not look.
Yeah, this is why we learn.
Entei, what do you,
Hey, you standing around here being
Learn how to
useless
pick
again.
ourselves back
What
up.
are these? They're like little just rocks that are like decorative textures. Can I spawn those?
Probably. I'm sure they're in their creative menu.
You would think.
This is a very lonely Larvitar.
No, you.
And now he's off the cliff.
I need like an auto clicker for this.
Yeah. The rocks make like a dirt noise when you break them.
They're fake.
Are they like the silverfish?
They were just styrofoam rocks the whole time.
Styrofoam rock. Just when chat thought we were done placing dirt.
Probably. I mean, now they get to see us break stuff in rapid time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
that's
put
so
down more
exciting.
dirt where it was.
I don't know. I like breaking stuff. But granted, that's why I became an engineer. There was a time where me and my dad had to fix like something. One of the we had a leak. One of our pipes sprung a leak, and so we had to take away. We had to break down some drywall.
Oh, that's always
And I
fun.
was upset because initially, I didn't know, like, I was upset because it leaked when I was taking a bath, and I was all like, oh gosh, this is my fault. And my dad goes to me, he's like, nah, this is the best part, and then he proceeds to just take a sledgehammer and just go
Yeah,
through
kill all
parts
these
wall.
Pokemon that are in the way
Oh,
while you're
okay.
telling this story.
Okay.
I have to
So anyways,
find
yeah,
it.
you got to like bust up a wall and pipes.
Got
Nice.
just, we just
Sounds like fun.
messed it up. Yeah, it was, at the time I was still upset, but when, after the fact, I was like, oh, he's right. It is fun to break stuff. It did take a while, though, to fix everything, though. It was annoying.
Putting up drywall is a pain.
Oh, yeah. Whoops.
Still don't have an Azelf.
Hey, hang on, is that an ultimate Mega Diancie over there?
Oh, is it?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's very frail. I can actually like probably insta KO it with whatchamacallit. Bullet punch.
But yeah, if you want to hear another story, I can tell you about the crazy thing that happened to me a week or so ago.
Go for
What
it.
happened?
That I told Chaos about. And
Oh,
also,
is
I
it
did
the
also-
Zyme thing?
Oh yeah.
Oh no, not that thing.
Michael actually saw the like the
Yeah.
headings for that.
Yep.
Shroom, did I tell you about that on Thursday?
I don't believe so.
About the Persona Zymes? Like, there was a Persona Zyme. A Zyme is where, like, a bunch of creators make, like, a magazine, basically, of, like, fan art and stuff or something like that.
Okay.
And there was one for Persona 5, right? And the person who was in charge of it embezzled $22,000 or something like that out of it.
It was 22,000 US dollars, 27,000 Canadian dollars.
Yeah, so 22,000 USD. And they spent the majority of it on Genshin Impact after embezzling $22,000.
Huh.
It was crazy.
Did it for the waifus, respectable.
Yeah.
No.
This also, I was actually, because I bought the Zine, I was actually, seeing like all the stupid drama that went down because this person was just awful. Like, I put this order, like, I guess we'll talk about it anyway since we brought it up. But I put in the the orders went out July last year, and we were supposed to get them like November-ish of last year, I think was when it was supposed to be. And yeah, that didn't happen. Like, the person in charge of it was like, oh, I wasn't able to do this, blah blah blah, came up with a bunch of excuses all the time for like why things weren't getting done. Oh, I was checking them for quality, I was being quality control, all this bullcrap. And finally, like, it got to like April of this year, you know, like we're getting like we were getting close to
Alright.
Close to.
yeah, we were getting close to basically a whole year, because what happened was people were getting frustrated and fed up because we were over 6 months of waiting for it, and we just kept getting more and more excuse from the lead mod, who was the person that embezzled. And it just was ridiculous, and finally what they decided to do was they got to the point where the other mods had to come in, and literally one of the other mods had to take like a 6-hour train or something, because she wouldn't give the product to the other mods so the other mods could handle it. She wasn't being upfront with the money, which now we know why, but we all kind of like, everybody else was like, this seems kind of sus. And yeah, as it turns out, spent 22k on Genshin Impact. One thing that was also crappy that did kind of happen was when people started wanting refunds, because, you know, like, we bought it in July. We were supposed to get it, like, first they said October, then they moved it to, like, January, and then you didn't get it in January, and people were like, well, are we gonna even get this thing? Does this thing even exist? And so, like, they made an offer of, like, you can get a refund, or, like, they didn't really want to give out refunds because they didn't know the Monodal situation, because the head mod was being, you know, not upfront about it. So, what happened was, I eventually went and was like, hey, I think, what's going on, I want a refund, or, and they were like, oh, we'll ship it to you, and I was like, okay, I mean, and I was like, okay, fine. I'm like, I'll get it, I'll get mine. And I'm so glad I did, because, oh boy, when the other mods got the rest of the designs, because they only had like a small amount at first, they had to literally ship it from this person, because she had all of the designs. They had to ship it from her.
We're not Lone Wolf, Michael.
And
I think this is about like center.
yeah, it looks pretty
And
I
center.
just
think I
in case
wanted
we
it a little
want-
bit further back instead of center.
All right, so then like we can go like halfway between this and the
Yeah,
other
about there.
one?
I think like
What,
I think
like-
that the altar should be like where you are about, and the altar is pretty at the back.
But yeah, they started offering, like, if
Can
people
This
came
could
to
be
them
like
for
kind of
refunds,
this could be kind of the walk up, honestly.
Sure.
people came to them for refunds, they'd be like, yeah, you could have it, we'll give it to you. And then after they got all of the designs, because, you know, some people were willing to wait, and other people were like, well, I mean, if they're offering it in exchange, rather than have to pay me back my money, I'll take it, I'll take the thing. And as a result, when they got, like, all the designs that they'd made, because they'd made enough for every person at first, they found out that that was the first lie they caught the head mod. Well, that wasn't the first lie, they caught the head mod in a few lies. There's just a lot of information to try to process. But the head mod didn't grade any of them, basically, so there was a lot of really crappy product. So they had to go and they had to remake the product, and yeah, and then now the biggest thing is that the head mod, the person that started it all, embezzled the money. Like, it's awful because
Yeah, that's crazy.
they were the one
What
that
else?
started it, and like
Very much.
like the problem was is they were the one that started it, they were the ones in charge, they never had a history of any of this before, so like the other mods like were completely caught off guard, like they didn't see any of it coming. It was ridiculous.
You
Yeah,
know,
so
Maybe
before we
should have been
continue
that they
that-
played Genshin Impact.
addictions
Yeah.
to Genshin Impact are real.
Yeah.
Is this the direction that we want this?
What?
I didn't even think about, like, do you want it on that side of the
Yeah.
island? Okay.
That's the
Just
front of the
making sure.
island where I'm looking.
All right. Just making sure, because I didn't, like, actually pay attention to what, like, direction it was.
6, 7, 1, 2, 3.
But yeah, the crazy thing that happened to me was what happened. Like, I tweeted about it a little bit, where it was, I got caught in another storm.
Oh, really?
So
All the time with this chick.
So what happened is it's so funny. Like, I was talking to my coworker that day, and like, it was a really hot day. It was like the first day of like being really hot after being really cool. So you know, I think we were like on the edge of like a warm front, and a cold front had just passed through, and so naturally, they'd predicted, the forecast said thunderstorms for the day, but the problem was they forecasted like middle of the day, nothing. And when I looked at the weather map, radar map, I'm like, oh, they got it up in Wisconsin. They didn't get it down here. We're fine. It passed us, because my friend was telling me like, oh gosh, all my friends in Madison and Milwaukee are sending pictures of lightning struck trees and damage. And I'm like, oh man, that's crazy. They must have got the storm that was heading our way. And after I finished talking to my coworker, my sister texts me and is like, hey, you want to go for a walk? And like, I'm like, well, it's clearly not going to storm today. Sure. What she doesn't tell me is that my mom told her, hey, the weatherman said storms might pop up, even if they're not on the radar right now. But I didn't know that, and my sister didn't tell me that. And I've been operating under the assumption of, okay, they forecast a storm. I don't see any storms on the radar. And for some reason, apparently, when you look up, hey, my location weather, it doesn't automatically tell you, yo, hey, dingus, here there be storms. So literally me and my sister go out, get in our car, and we start driving, and I'm looking
where are
over
you?
to the north.
Coming back, I was getting an egg.
And I'm looking at the north, and I'm like, that's a really dark sky. That's real, like, the cloud, it was just pitch black. And I'm like, that looks
These stairs
ominous.
are supposed to be different.
And my sister goes to me, she's like,
We're making
it's
our own, we
fine.
don't have to
There's
match the other thing."
there's sunlight coming from the other side. It's fine. And so we're like, okay, we're gonna go to this forest preserve, and we're gonna be fine. And I'm like, it's probably just gonna thunder. And I'm like, my expectation was, we're gonna get there and maybe it's gonna thunder and we're gonna have to turn around and go back. So we get there, we get to the forest preserve, and literally as soon as we park up and we're just about to get out of the car, is when our phones go off and are like, hey, it's a tornado warning. Like, we just passed a watch. We just went right to warning, and I was just like, me and my sister just both looked at each other, and we're just like, yeah, we're gonna leave now. And we'd gone to a forest preserve, and this forest preserve, like, where I live is fairly, like, there's a lot of places, like, if worse came to worse and I was, like, walking around outside or, like, driving around, I could find somewhere in my town that I could, you know, take cover in. There's places I can go that I know I can go to. There was no place, we weren't completely out in the middle of nowhere, but we were out in the middle of not a lot of places to go to when there's a tornado.
Come here, Michael.
So
It doesn't sound fun.
yeah, it was not fun. So we both, like, we hit the road, and my sister's like, can we just outrun it? Can we just head in the direction where it's not dark? And I'm like, I mean, how fast is it moving? Where's it coming from? I opened the radar. I'm like, I can't read this, and so I call my parents. I'm like, yo, hey, there's a tornado warning where we're at. Can you guys see where it's going? And so they tell us to head for home, like head for my parents' house, because my parents have a pretty solid basement. I'm like, good plan, we're gonna head there. So we start heading that way. So for a while we'd gone south, which was away from the storm, and then we're like, okay, well we should be a good bit south. We'll cut east and we'll get to home. And we're driving for a little bit. We roll the windows down, and we hear the sirens, and we both collectively shit ourselves. Sorry. We both collectively crap ourselves, and because, you know, sirens while you're outside in a car is a bad time.
Yeah, that's not ideal.
Yeah, you normally I understand like people are like in the Midwest like oh we've dealt with storms before, they're nothing new. There is something terrifying about being outside with nowhere to go, with no idea where this storm is, no idea how big it is. Because one of the things that I didn't know was I didn't
Northerners,
know,
am I right, Michael?
Yeah.
I didn't know
I'm out of
that
bricks, by the way.
Okay, I gotta spot
was
my water,
I didn't
obviously.
know that the way the language of a tornado warning alert is it always says extreme. So when it said extreme, I was like, oh
Have
god.
you ever met a mild tornado before?
I mean, there are 5. There is this EF scale for a reason, and the thing is looking at the language of the tornado warning, I thought we were dealing with something that was super dangerous, and
What, like a tornado?
Well, in EF5. EF5 is if you're not underground, you're dead. And I mean, I don't know why my brain just jumped to the worst one, but that was the thought.
I think I probably know why.
And well, also I'd like been watching tornado documentaries before this, and like that's how I knew like EF5 is deadly if you're not like in a specific shelter or in a
I think
basement.
we should, Michael, you think we should do like steps around, or maybe slabs like this?
But yeah, anyway, so like seeing that, like, and it gets worse
Yeah,
because
I like that.
as we're starting to head east towards my parents' house,
How do you
of
think of
course
that?
when my parents call us and my
there gonna
dad's
be,
like, do not
level
come
above
to
this?
us.
Yeah.
We just got the siren, and in the background, I
We can
could
do stairs.
literally hear the siren coming from his phone, and I was just like, well, this is great. Where do we go? We were like my parents are like, okay, there's a restaurant you're heading towards on this street. Go there, hide out in the bathroom. I'm like, good plan, bathroom works. And then we can, and I'm like, because me and my sister were both like, we just want, my sister's like, oh, we can outrun it. I'm like, we don't know where it's going. I would much rather be in a building than in a car. Because I don't want something to come flying at us and kill us. So, we're
I'm gonna
trying
catch
to,
a
our
stray
goal has
cow.
become,
Quick second.
I mean,
Is that a
I'm more worried about
full moon up
debris,
there?
but you know.
Yep. No.
No?
No. It's
No.
3/4.
Tomorrow night.
Alright.
But anyways, so we started heading for
What of these should we do,
Portello's.
Michael? The dusty ones or the normal ones? Wait, what is this? This is just the normal temple block. I was looking at Ruin's Wall, and then there's also one called
It's
Dusty.
dusty.
But
Dusty
yeah,
Ruin.
I think I like this one the most.
That's just Ruin's
Just
Wall.
Ruins Wall.
Yeah, so anyways, so we have our target now. We're like, okay, we're gonna aim for this restaurant. And I was looking at our phones, and I'm like, okay, that's 3 minutes out. We can make it before something bad happens, hopefully. And so we get stuck behind a truck, and like we're like not we don't want to be here, and like my sister's like, why is not everybody running? And I'm like, if everybody starts not driving safely, we're all gonna die. We're all gonna be stuck in a spot if it actually is dangerous, or they just didn't care. I don't know. The Midwest is like some people like maybe other people have just been outside during a tornado and don't care. I mean, there is like
I know what
in, like-
will be.
yeah, in Oklahoma, like they have tornado tours, like where they'll wait for a tornado and they'll take a bunch of people out to, get as close as
Oklahoma's having a banger of a time.
Yeah, Oklahoma, they're like, yeah, we'll take you on a tornado tour where you can go take pictures of a tornado coming at you. It's like, okay, cool.
That sounds
Cool,
pretty
cool.
fun.
Have fun. So we're like, we get stuck behind a truck, and so we make the decision to go around the truck. We're like, we don't want to be stuck behind this thing. We want to get where we're going pretty quickish. And as a result of going into the middle lane to go around it, we missed the turn. And my sister's just like, and we're both just like, what's our next target? And my sister's like, well, we'll go for Target. And I'm like, Target is 13 minutes away from where we're at. I don't want to be stuck out here any longer. And we're coming up on an expressway. And just as we near the expressway, we get another alert. Probably because we must have crossed either into another town, into another county, I don't know. And So we look over the expressway, and we're just like, and my sister's just like, I'm just gonna go there. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Cause like we weren't gonna find anything going the way we were. So we head to the expressway. I'm looking at the alert. The alert still says extreme, and I'm just like, bad times. I look behind me. The storm looks nasty as hell. So I'm like, can we get there sharpish? And so we speed down the expressway, and my sister's like just insisting that she just wants to run it. Like she just wants to outrun it. And I'm like, we don't know where it's going, and if it's fast, it's gonna catch up to us. So
Can one outrun a tornado? Is that like something
you
can do?
can.
Yeah, absolutely you can. That's like, that's what I would have done.
You can, but it helps if you know where they're going. Because if you don't know where it's going, then you could double back on it. You could be going down a path. I mean, it really also depends on how close you are to it. I mean, because tornado chasers do it all the time. They get close to them, and then they avoid them. But the thing is like, if you get close enough to it, and you don't know where it's going, or you don't know how, and you're not far enough away from it, it'll come up on you and it'll wreck your day.
Ah.
Like there is video footage of a tornado chaser who just narrowly escapes a tornado, and it's like,
That's the most fun kind of escape.
yeah, he escapes it, but then he doesn't know it. But there's a bunch of storm chasers. There was a group of storm chasers behind him that didn't make it.
Ooh.
Yeah, and he had a rough time. Like his video, like is of him struggling. Like there is like the road is completely soaking wet, and the wind is ridiculous, and it's just fighting him the whole time. Like that was just like skin of your teeth escape. Now me and my sister, we couldn't see any tornado. Like I was looking behind us. It was just pitch black behind us, so I could not tell if like there was a tornado there or if there wasn't. But I was so terrified that I was just like, we're going to find somewhere to get below. We're gonna go to a basement, and we're gonna take shelter, and then we're gonna work things out.
Before we go any further.
Yeah.
Is it with how we've got this? Is it possible to have the time space altar be centered?
What do you mean, have the altar in the very middle?
But like, I mean, obviously you'd want it to be like, you wouldn't want it to be like slightly to one side because this is like an even number. Does it only take up one block, or is it like the machines that are like
Not that I did
multiple
this
blocks?
at an odd number when I first did it. I had a centerpiece, and then I did 7 down both sides after. How did it get even?
Well, if you did that, 15 is an honorary even number. We all know that.
What? That doesn't have... What?
Oh, Hitmonchan. What you doing punching?
So we were going down so my sister and I were going down an expressway. My sister still wants to outrun it. I'm like, we don't know where it is. And the thing is I feel like my nerves would have just given up, and then we would have had a problem. And so what I said was, the college, we had a college nearby that it was a community college that we had both gone to, and it had a basement, so I was like, that's an option. And my sister said, well, we don't currently go there. Will they let us in? And I'm like, so...
Just shave one like block off the side.
You'd
It'll be
think
fine.
with a tornado, yes.
Readjust.
Yeah, they probably would.
We'll
It
shave
just
one off.
depended
Let's
on...
extend it one to the left. One on the left side.
On the left side?
Because I mean, when my
Take
mom
this
got
take
nearly
one more
hit
to
by
the side here.
tornado,
Alright, we'll
Home Depot,
get rid
like
of
she
these
had to
first,
pass
though.
my little brother to like the people at Home Depot to take him inside so they could avoid the tornado. But that's a different time. That was like when I was much younger, and I wasn't actually in the tornado. I was at the orthodontist. Everybody in my family was separated that time. This time was just me and my sister in the middle of it. And so we had two options. We had go to the college, which I felt like it was a better take with the fact that it had a basement and it seemed pretty solid, or go to the mall, because there was a mall nearby. And my sister's like, we can definitely get into the mall. It's a safer bet. It has a basement. I'm like, it does have a basement and it's built in. So we decided to go for the mall. I thought the mall was further than it was, so I was a little nervous because I thought we weren't going to get to the mall in time. We would have to go east, which was kind of the direction of the storm. Because clearly it had hit my parents' house, and my parents had been east of us, so logic dictated it would go that way. And so we went to the mall. I realized that I'd forgotten that the mall is only partially a basement,